Hey everybody, welcome to the Players Take episode 57. I am your host Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host Bernie Sad Hype Man, Montrell Rice.
Yeah, what's up everybody?
How's it going, man?
It's a depressing day, but I'm getting through it.
Dude, we've had a rough 7 days since our last show, or 8 days.
Yeah,
actually.
man, it's been really
It's been really rough personally, at work, professionally.
Yeah,
it's just been a rough time.
Yeah.
And then politically, it's been a trip, man. So
yeah, man.
But this show's about video games, so let's keep it on video games. For those of you who don't know, this is our weekly show. We're talking about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. Let's start like we always do with what we've been playing. Montrell. We've been playing very similar games except for one. So, you have anything to say about Kingdom Hearts 3?
Nope. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying the difficulty of the boss battles, and like I said, too bad the rest of the game wasn't like this. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
These battles must be rough, dude. You've been working on this shit for weeks.
Yeah, I'm not doing any guides with them, so they are like
okay.
pretty
So
rough.
you're just learning them, and
Yeah, they have.
I mean,
phases.
I assume you're not going home and banging them out for 5 hours straight.
Nah.
So.
Yeah, so I'm doing it just off the strength alone of trying to memorize certain attacks, because each boss has like 3 different phases. So
Okay, they're pretty long fights, I assume.
Probably about 5 to 7 minutes.
That's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty long. Well, for those of you who are interested in that, follow Montrell's Twitter, iTrap for the Hokage.
Yeah,
Number 4, not the word. He posts the video every time he wins. So, yeah. So we both been playing Apex a little bit. You have finally fixed your connectivity issues.
Yes.
With Apex.
Yes.
My crashing issue has seen no alleviation whatsoever. So I'm just dealing with it, I guess. But
so you did crash yesterday?
I didn't crash yesterday, but I mean, I only played for like an hour and a half, or maybe.
Yeah,
We didn't play for very long.
It seemed like we played for a while though. I don't know why.
Maybe we did. Wait, did we play? No, we played for about 3 hours, I guess. Now that I think about it, I didn't crash at all. So maybe it is fixed. I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty long.
Who knows? I doubt it. It's just it happens sometimes. Any thoughts on that game further now that we played another week? Or
the balancing crazy.
Yeah, they definitely pendulum swing some things.
Yeah.
There was a balance patch that came out yesterday. Nerfed Gibraltar, his like special scope shield or whatever, or like ADS shield.
He was already bad. He's really bad now.
Yeah, I think I mean, some people are saying the character's good, but I don't see it.
Yeah,
man.
I think they need to rework that character.
I play him, and he's just fat and.
Yeah, he's not really.
He's like, when I'm playing against him, I'm almost happy. I'm like, God, every one of my shots is gonna hit. Yay! It's like, his hitbox is so wide, dude. It's like
he's a really big guy.
Yeah.
Him and Caustic are really big.
Yeah.
No, Bloodhound got huge buff.
Oh my God, yeah. So Montrell plays Crypto, who has this like little drone that can find people and stuff, but he has to like concentrate on it to be able to use it. And yeah, Bloodhound has this scan ability. And man, they buffed it like crazy. It's got like 3 times the effectiveness it used to have. Like, it's scanning like entire fucking towns. Like, it was ridiculous. Dude, we went to, what was it, Mirage? The Mirage Voyage or whatever? And it scanned like the whole ship.
It scanned the entire ship.
It's fucking absurd.
And then we went to, what's the other city? Frontiers West or something?
Yeah,
that little city. And it scanned the entire city. I'm like, holy shit.
It was ridiculous, dude. The shit was crazy.
Every time we had a Bloodhound on our team, we
Montrell just picked
3.
another character.
Yeah,
that was another thing. Yeah, we kept making top 3. I mean, I'm not going to say it's OP, but it's like, because when it does find people, it shows you a very brief glimpse of where they are.
Oh, yeah. So like, it's not overpowered, but it's just a huge buff for that character.
Yeah, it's not even like a second that they're visible. Yours, Crypto's, like when you find somebody, they're visible for a good 10 seconds almost.
As long as they stay in my camera range, they're
it's
visible.
pretty bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
Like, because you can just watch them come around a corner and just ADS. You
Yeah.
know? And so your stuff is pretty powerful still too, but it's just interesting. We'll see how the meta shakes out with it, I guess. Because when people were picking Bloodhound, you were like, "Fuck it, I'm playing Lifeline or something."
Yeah.
It's like I'm obsolete. So
Bloodhound is definitely an S tier character, or they are definitely an S tier character now.
I'm still digging the game a lot. I think I'm slowing down a little bit though. I'm not as obsessed with it as I was a week ago.
Yeah, me too. I can still play a couple rounds of it though.
Yeah, I'm trying to like get away from playing it every night because when I do, it's just we end up playing the whole night, and I feel like
Yeah, you wasted a night.
not wasted a night, but it's like, man, I really want to play Berwick Saga more, and it's like it's just I haven't been able to play enough because we keep playing Apex all the time. So I'm having fun with it, but yeah, I need to pull myself away because Neo 2 is about to come out, so I need to like get my head back in the game, for single player.
Yeah,
stuff. But yeah, and then we both played. So Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is a public service announcement as well as our analysis. Square dropped a Final Fantasy VII Remake demo Monday, was it? Yeah, I think it was Monday. It was Monday morning.
Was it Monday morning?
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday. Yeah.
That's when we heard about it.
Yep.
And that's actually when we both played it. Was Monday night, and it. So what'd you think of it? It was only about an hour. This was confusing. This was a point of confusion, and I know you want to talk about this real quick. Was that the demo that they released was actually only an hour? Media outlets were giving a 3-hour preview for the game at the same time that this demo came out, like same day.
Okay.
And this was super confusing because I thought the demo was 3 hours. So I didn't want to play it because I was like, I don't want to play this shit for 3 hours and then replay it. And then I got home and turned it on, and it was only about an hour.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of it, I guess?
So
to start.
Both of us played Dot Hack.
No, I've never played Dot Hack.
You never played the original?
Nope. I should. I need to. There's plenty of PS2 RPGs I've never played, man.
Oh, man.
It's a sad part of my life that I wish I could rectify.
Maybe it was GU you played then.
What is it?
GU, Dot Hack GU. You didn't play that one
I've
either?
never played any Dot Hacks.
Oh, I got the remaster if you want to borrow it.
Ooh, is that on?
It's on PS4.
Ooh,
the
really?
GU collection.
When did that come out?
That came out like last year. They dropped it like last year. Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Last year before last.
Yeah, I need that.
All right,
I gotta play that because it's like an action game, right? Or is it
the GU is more of an action RPG than Dot Hack is. Dot Hack is still an action RPG, but so like this game, you have an attack button. You have an attack button and everything like that. But you have to pause it to use your abilities and use your other character's abilities. So that's why, in my opinion, this game's more like Dot Hack.
Okay.
Because you have to pause it to use your ATB abilities and to use your magic and everything like that. So it's a switch between action combat and like turn-based combat. I kind of like it. I thought it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be that good, but I actually liked the combat a lot.
So we were really hyped for this when we saw it at E3. Is that hype still there for you, or did this curtail it at all a little bit, or temper your expectations? I guess.
No, I'm still hyped for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way better than like Final Fantasy 15, and I just wasn't super hyped for it because I wish I had more to play of it. So that's why I'm not overly hyped because I don't want to keep replaying the demo and shit like that. But I think the combat's really good. I think the style switch that you can do with Cloud, like the operator mode, and then I like how Barrett has his own style of playing as well. And I'm interested in seeing how other people play, as far as you switching styles. And I like the I think they toned down the Scorpion fight though. Maybe they did it for the demo.
Really?
Maybe they did that for because you remember we thought it was like an hour long.
No, it was 10 minutes, dude. I timed it. I specifically timed it because I was curious.
Okay.
It took me 10 minutes to kill the boss.
Yeah, it only took me like maybe 10 minutes at most.
It was a long fight. That was how long it was.
Not like that. I really like that.
Yeah, no, that fight. So, okay. So I got a lot of feelings about this, actually. It's interesting. So I'm not going to say it de-hyped me, but it definitely like...
Did it ground you?
It grounded my expectations. I think I was a little bit higher in this game than I should have been. Playing this demo, I'm not sitting here going to say that I'm like worried about this game at all, but so you know how you've been getting a lot of shit from your group chat about how this game looks like Final Fantasy 15, like the combat shit?
Yeah.
And we disagreed pretty heavily with that.
You feel like that? You feel like it's Final Fantasy 15-esque?
Esque. It's not Final Fantasy 15. That is a ridiculous statement to say that it's Final Fantasy 15, but I can see the DNA of that game in this. And they have heavily modified it, and it is way better than what they had in Final Fantasy 15, but I do see pieces of it because you do auto attack every time you hit the button, or you attack every time you hit the button in this game. And there is a version of the game that you can play that's like pseudo turn based, where you don't control the character that specifically.
Yeah,
where they will auto attack automatically for you, similar to like Final Fantasy 12, I guess. And all you do is like issue ATB commands to them.
Yeah.
You can play that. That's like kind of their compromise for turn-based folks, I guess. But I don't want to play that mode. But that's probably more similar to Final Fantasy 15 than the main mode. But what I felt, I guess, playing this was that I am wondering how deep the combat actually is when you get further into the game. I don't know how many more mechanics they're going to layer on than what we saw in the demo. You know, there's going to be summons at some point, obviously, and then you're going to have materia and stuff, and that stuff is going to be in the game. There was already materia in the demo, but you couldn't do anything with it. You know, like Cloud had his like fire materia, and Barrett had a thunder one. On his character, and each character has their own unique set of abilities, which is really cool. But I think the thing with this game is that if you're going to play this game as a single character the entire game, I think you're going to be really bored at some point because none of them are really that deep from what I saw so far. I mean, you only got to control Cloud and Barrett, but both of them felt really simple to play. Like, it wasn't like super intricate. Like when I was fighting the Scorpion, the combat felt really, really good. Like, it was like really tactical. You had to move around the battlefield. You had to use specific abilities like fire, or you had to use thunder rather to stagger it to build the stagger bar. You had to target specific body parts at specific points of the fight in order to make it vulnerable. They did a really good job with this. I'm not saying that is bad at it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely not as deep as I was expecting from a pure single character standpoint. Like, when I was fighting that battle in the Scorpion, I was switching between Barrett and Cloud constantly in that fight, depending on what I was doing. Because Cloud does a lot more damage than Barrett, but Barrett was necessary to stagger the boss.
Yeah.
You know, so I was controlling him to stagger the boss, and then when I did stagger, I was switching to Cloud and doing a shitload of damage really quickly. But, like, if you were just playing... The regular encounters definitely are where I felt like the combat was really kind of weak, I guess. Like, the random battles, you know, that you fight. Against like the little shitty enemies. It's like you don't really need to do much more than auto attack. At least at first. I'm sure this will change later in the game, and it might get more challenging, and certain enemies are going to be tougher because then you fought that like one little mech enemy.
I was just about to like kind of I don't want to say counter your point, but I was going to counter your point with like I think we're going to get more enemies like the mech enemy, because I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum, and trust me guys, I'm not a Final Fantasy fanboy. But I think this game's going to be actually pretty deep as far as not playing a single character. I think the whole intent of the game,
it's going to be a party.
Yeah, it's a party-based game.
That's what I think too.
And they want you to figure out different combos, different stagger points.
They want you to swap between characters. Yeah. I think that's the intent, and I don't think that's a problem. I think the combat will be deep.
And I understand from your point of view with the random encounters with the little eyeball monsters.
Yeah. Just the regular soldiers.
Just the regular soldiers, I don't think the entire game's like that. I think that was designed as a tutorial.
Right. I mean, it's a demo. It's the early part of the game. It's supposed to be easier. And that Scorpion fight by no means was easy, by the way. I think a lot of players could struggle with that, actually.
I was struggling with it. I blew through like 10 potions using that shit.
Yeah, no, you have to. You have no choice. It's just the way the fight is. And that's kind of my point about this is you can dodge certain attacks, but there's certain things that the game is kind of clunky in that way.
Yeah.
The dodging is not precise at all. Yeah. And the hitboxes are definitely not precise at all. So don't expect that out of this game. I guess.
I do think they need to fix that because there's definitely not going to be a way for somebody to do like a 0 damage run because it's not an action game. It's still
you're going to have enemies shooting machine guns at you. It's impossible to dodge that shit.
Yeah, I think people are going to go into it expecting an action game, and I'm going to here to tell you right now, it's not an action game.
It's not an action game.
You can do combos, but like not in the traditional sense of like
there's not like combo trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't. There's no heavy attacks or anything like that. Like there might be later. I didn't. But,
later there might be, but I think like this game is really focused on like doing
it's
combos.
Party management. It's ability management, mana management, your ATB gauge management.
And I love that fact. Right. I love that, and I think a lot of classic fans will. I think like somebody like Jet. I think Jet will love this game.
Dude, they. Okay, so this is what we came out of the E3 demo thinking, and I think they've pulled off what we were talking about back then that we were excited about. This is an action game, yes, but it isn't really an action game. It's playing like a JRPG.
Yes.
And I think they're pulling it off really magnificently. So that's why I'm trying not to sound negative here, because it's not a negative thing. I just think you
got your critiques of it though. I mean, it's not a perfect game.
No, it's not perfect, right? Yeah. I think they could have pulled it off a little better, but that notwithstanding, I just don't want people's expectations to be kind of calibrated wrong for this.
Yeah,
like you said, it's not an action game, and people need to make sure they understand that. Because I think if people think this is an action game, they're gonna go into this game and not get the game they want.
Oh yeah, if they go into it thinking it's a Kingdom Hearts or even like a Tales of Vesperia. Right,
it's not even as deep as Kingdom Hearts, right?
Like Tales of Vesperia, you can play one character throughout that entire game.
And be very engaged to it, and it's deep. There's there are combos in that game. They're kind of rudimentary sometimes, but there's at least combos, and this game has none of that really.
Yeah, this one is more like you said about party management, even managing your character at the time and putting them in certain situations and maneuvering the battlefield. I think they did a really good job with that. I do have some concerns too. My concern is the random encounters, like how much random encounters are you going to get with Cloud, and then how much are you going to get with the party? Are you going to only going to use the party in big situations like that, or are you going to use the is it going to be a party with you all the time type deal, or is it going to be a situational thing, or
Did you read any of the previews about the 3-hour previews
that
came out? So I did a little bit, and I think this is where some concerns are coming in, is that people that played the 3-hour demo, they mentioned that there is definitely a big difference between that first hour and the next 2 hours.
Really?
The voice acting is not present throughout. The next section of the game, like certain parts of it, don't have voice acting. Like it's like text-based. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it sounded like it wasn't the same quality as that demo. Like that demo was very cinematic. Every line that was delivered was voice dialogue.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's possible the game's not 100% like that. And they also said that even when you get out into the city, the game feels pretty linear, which I don't personally have a problem with. But I think people are going to be upset about that. I think if that's the way the game is, where it's really
I can't remember. Was the original game that linear in the city of Midgar?
Yes, it was. It was pretty linear. Yeah, there was not a lot of...
I don't remember the game opening up until after you leave the city.
Yeah, that's the question, because the game does open up, and is that... And I read some comments saying that this game fully takes place in Midgar. The end of the game is basically when they leave Midgar, essentially. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how robust, I guess, Midgar is. Is it just a bunch of linear places, or does it open up in a certain spot? Is it like God of War, where it's like there's a little bit of an open area somewhere and the rest of it's linear for the most part? Like,
or is it like a open world, which would be interesting, like an open world JRPG type game where you do have certain parts on the map, but the entire city is open up to you.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, or is it more like Tales? Where it's like pseudo open, but it's like a bunch of like connected screens, basically. Will it be more like that? So I'll be interested to see that stuff. I think in terms of dialogue, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I expect the whole game to be voiced, but the way they've been selling this game, I guess
they kind of been selling like it is all
kind
voice,
of setting that expectation, and that demo definitely set that expectation as well. And I don't know how people are gonna deal with that either. So
I'm assuming like just for that demo, it wasn't really voiced, but I'm assuming the full product to be voiced. I don't know.
Well, what did you think of the voice acting too?
It was standard JRPG-ish type voice acting. I mean, it was good.
Little cringy at times. Barrett definitely had his moment.
Oh my god!
In the elevator or whatever. Yeah.
I'm tired of this.
And then Jesse's like flirting with Cloud the whole time.
Yeah, it's standard JRPG-ish. I wasn't really expecting nothing too big on it and everything of that nature. I had something else I wanted to say about the game, because I thought the games were like really cool as far as combat wise.
I like the so the puzzles, quote puzzles. There's like a laser kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I was like, that's a puzzle?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a puzzle per se, but like I think the game's gonna have stuff like that throughout.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of rudimentary stuff like that. Also the chests are really hard to see.
Yeah.
They were really difficult to spot in certain parts.
And I know that's your stake right there. So
Yeah, man. I need that exploration, man. I gotta have it. So
no, so that's what I was going to talk about. The game's difficulty.
Mhm.
I appreciate the game's difficulty, but I know that I am a minority in as far as game difficulty wise. And I was reading a lot of very interesting tweets from like, journalists and things of that nature who think this game is like super hard. They're like, oh, I can't believe they made Final Fantasy this hard. Like,
Wait, what part were they talking about? The scorpion fight?
the Scorpion fight.
Oh, okay, just so.
Well,
This is
I
the
think
thing.
the Scorpion fight.
They're conflating difficulty with length of time. Like it's a battle of attrition. It's not. I wouldn't call that fight difficult per se. It's just that you have to
manage your characters.
you got to manage it for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's a long ass fight in a video game. Like
yeah.
and that.
But that's how JRPGs usually. Sometimes
They are. Yeah, no, they are. That's how they are, and that's why I like the way they've done this game so far. They've kind of hit the nail with that.
But that's what I'm afraid of, right? I'm afraid of people. They're so used to like, and I'm a Tales fan, but they're so used to like the Tales-esque type games where it's just like quick, 2-minute battle. Like a 3-minute battle was just a long fucking battle.
Right. I've always complained about in my head to myself. I've always complained about Tales boss battles. I always felt like they're not long enough a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is actually why I play those games on hard, but they're not balanced very well.
Oh, they're terrible on hard.
They're so bad on hard. So it's like I just wish the enemies had more HP. Almost, because the boss fights in Tales games are actually super fucking fun.
Yeah, they
most
are.
of the time, but they just don't last very long.
So,
yeah.
Because this game, I was reading that, and I'm afraid like Square may take that into account and like make their next Final Fantasy game not as difficult. And I like that difficult. Well, it's not difficult. It's just you need to manage your party, and I like that. I like managing my party, and I understand this is not the type of game. But the thing is, right? Those people should have played on like easy story mode.
There is an easy mode and there's a casual mode too.
Yeah, there's a mode where you can just like breeze through the game, right? And if you do come home from a long day at work and you don't feel like managing your party because let's say you're a manager at work and you manage your, whatever the fuck, I don't know,
manage your people.
Yeah, manage your people and shit like that. So I don't know. I know some people are like that. So I mean, that's
You're
cool.
like Cloud, just fucking swing the sword, bro.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you every time to swing it. Okay?
Exactly. So I mean, they do have those modes for you, and I think those people should have played said modes. But I think the game's like. I think this is the perfect mix of like action crowd. Like this is how you do an action RPG / JRPG game, in my opinion.
Me too.
I think they need to like, maybe make it a little bit more open-ended and make the random mobs that spawn, make those a little bit more tougher. But I think
tighten the hitboxes up for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you were fighting those guard dogs, trying to dodge their attack was like, what the? How,
like, I just countered them. I just went to punish mode and countered them.
Yeah, for real, dude. I think that's the intent because trying to dodge those attacks was so stupid. Like,
yeah.
It just didn't, like when they hit you is like, it just so off. It's like so off beat. From what the animation is showing you, that it's like,
it like I said, it reminded me of Crisis Core. Like it's a way perfected version of Crisis Core combat, and like I said, they threw a little bit of dot hack in there as well. But for me, it just reminded me so much of Crisis Core and dot hack that I'm like, man, this is like the perfected versions of this. That's why when people were comparing it to like 15, I didn't see it because I had so many other, I had 2 other
influences
games
in your head, right? I can see it. Like 15's, I think what they were going for with 15 is kind of what they did here. Is like it was supposed to be a game about party management. It wasn't meant to be like an action game.
Yeah.
But the thing is that game's not hard. So like it's that's the problem. The game gets really boring when it isn't tightly balanced.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
That's all I got though.
I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out in like 5 weeks.
I'm gonna buy it first day.
April 16th. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it first day. I mean, I don't expect it to be long. I think 20-30 hours probably.
Yeah,
and that's fine with me. Honestly, I know it's split into 3 games, and that's pissing people off. But frankly, I don't need another 100-hour JRPG right now. So cool. I'm actually excited about it.
But I need them to stop asking me to purchase the goddamn game.
Dude, so you beat the demo, and then the game pops up this window where it's like, do you want just Final Fantasy VII Remake, or do you want the special edition for $90?
No, let's talk about how you first boot up the game, and they ask you that. And I thought you had to buy the game to play the demo. I'm like, do I got to buy this to play a demo?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty bad.
That was funny.
Okay. I've also been playing Berwick Saga some more. I'm on the tail end of Chapter 3 in that game. Like I said, I haven't been able to play it as much as I'd like because we've been obsessed with Apex. But what I have played is really, winning me over, man. This game is just, it is a gift from the gods. Like, this is strategy game heaven.
So thank that guy who translated the game. I think he's been translating for like 4 years or something like that.
4 years. This guy, I don't even know his name, but I think he lives in like Minnesota. What a service this man has done for the internet. Like, it is just, this game is so wonderful. I am like I have a very specific taste when it comes to strategy games. I actually want them to be really difficult, which is why I like Felseal, because that game is actually not easy at all. And two of my favorites of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, the original one on the Super NES/PS1, not the remake that was on the PSP. Those games are difficult in their own way for a while, and then the balance completely runs out of control in those games. And you can kind of level to the point where you are almost untouchable in both of those games. The balance is just way off. So they're super fun games, but they definitely have their issues. In Berwick Saga, I don't know how the game plays at the end game, but currently right now where I am, this game's balance is impeccable. You are just not able to steamroll this game the way you are in something like Fire Emblem or some lesser strategy games like Disgaea or something like that. You cannot just out-level the game. Like, it's impossible. Like, you can't do it. Like,
okay.
the way the game's experience scaling is, you just, like, grinding is not possible in this game. So you will never out-level whatever mission you're doing, and it means that the game is always a challenge. And boy, oh boy, is this game a challenge. Man, the main mission for Chapter 3 is one of the most insanely designed maps I've ever seen in a strategy RPG. Like, it was... So the basis for this map, I'm going to spoil a little bit, not like story, but the objective of this mission. This mission is an escort mission where you have to escort these 3 NPC priests from the bottom left corner of the map to the top right corner of the map. And they all take a different path. There's 3 different paths to the temple you're trying to get to, and they all take a different path. You have 12 units that you're allowed to deploy. So basically, you have to split your party into thirds. And then you have to protect all 3 priests. I mean, if you really want to, you actually only need to protect 1. That's where this game is really nice. It's kind of got layers of difficulty depending on what you want to do. But I decided to save all 3, and because that's just how I play these games. I'm a psycho. I want to do like everything in them. Yeah. But dude, trying to do this was like, it stretched me to my limit, dude. Like, it's like you have to plan moves out in advance. Because the way this game plays is the main maps are just wild, dude. There's so many things going on. While these priests are going to their certain positions, there are enemy reinforcements coming. There's 3 different side quests that you got before you started the mission that you have to complete objectives for, like find a certain item somewhere on the map, or kill this certain NPC, or have this character talk to this certain NPC when they show up on the map. Then a bounty shows up on the map late in the map, shows up. Then there's this like story enemy that shows up who's literally unkillable. He'll kill your units in 1 round of combat easily. He shows up and you have to talk to him with a specific character to get him to go away, basically. And if you don't do that, you can't that priest cannot advance past that point without you doing that.
Okay.
Dude, you just have to balance so many things at once in this game that it is just so good. It's awesome. If you like those games, if you like Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, even Disgaea, to any degree, this game is just awesome. Okay, it really is. It's shooting up very quickly to one of my favorite strategy games, like, period. And that is high praise coming from me. So it's like honestly making me like Fire Emblem less, because it is made by the creator of Fire Emblem, and it's like really showing me what the potential of Fire Emblem really could be if they tried.
Ah,
And
okay.
it kind of feels like they're afraid to do something like this.
Yeah, because you haven't, because Fire Emblem's mainstream now. So I think the whole thing of being difficult is
almost out the window at this point.
That would turn people away, because I remember when we were doing the earlier shows, you always complained about how easy it was, and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait for maddening mode. I can't wait," or it used to be called lunatic mode, but I can't wait for the maddening mode and everything of that nature. So I mean, simple fact, this game is hard for you. Is like it's probably gonna be a fucking nightmare for me if I play it. But I'm gonna try it out.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. There's layers of difficulty. Like I'm trying to do everything. I'm a crazy person. Like I'm a completionist with these games.
Okay.
And I'm trying to use like every character almost, which you don't have to do. And like I said, the objective of the map, you actually only have to let one priest get to the temple you're trying to get to, not all three. So
okay.
if you wanted to, you could specifically send your whole party with one priest and do it that way, you know. And it would make the map challenging in different ways, where you'd have giant groups of enemies converging on you in one specific part of the map, and it would create this huge like battle line probably. But you know, you could probably do it that way if you wanted to. So it's just the way it's designed is like it encourages you to do all three you know, at once, and it's just super fun, dude. I'm really impressed with it. It's a lot better than I was expecting.
Well, the guy who did it, his name's Ethin, Aethin, and that's his name on the Serene's Forest.
Serenus Forest, yeah.
Yeah, Serenus Forest.
Yep. They're a Fire Emblem site.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he also did the translation for the first game, I think, as well.
Tearing Saga?
Yep.
Yep.
Him and another guy named Lightgazer was the programmer.
Yes, So my understanding of the situation is that the game was already translated, I guess, but they needed to. They needed to like hack the game to allow this guy Athene to put those files into the game.
Oh, okay.
And that's what Lightgazer did. Lightgazer was the programmer who gave him the tools basically to allow him to put the text into the game.
Gotcha.
Essentially.
Okay.
I think that's my understanding of it. I don't think Athene, I don't know if he actually translated it or not. He might have. I don't know. I think he might have translated it before he was able to start putting text in the game, and then he did that afterwards. So, whatever the case, though, either way, dude, putting the work in, super
it took them
appreciate
4
it.
years to do that. So
I'm so happy that this happened, because I would have never played this game if it hadn't been translated. So, big ups to those two for sure. They're heroes in my book, because this was a Japan only game on PS2. Never came over here. It's a damn shame too, because Kaga, the guy who made these, who was the creator of Fire Emblem and was the main guy who pushed to make these games. You know, he didn't make another game after this until Vestaria Saga, which just came out. And it's a shame, because this dude has vision, man. Like he's kind of a visionary in the early Fire Emblem years. Like those games are very different from what Fire Emblem became. He was really pushing those games into different directions and trying things and really like trying to do innovative stuff with the genre. And it's sad to think that he left Nintendo and Intelligent Systems, and then the series kind of, as good as some of those games are, they are very samey between them, you know.
Yeah.
And they do not evolve a huge amount between games. So, and this game also kind of did the Three Houses thing 15 years before Three Houses did it. Because you know, like everybody who's played that is aware that there's a monastery between missions that you talk to characters and do stuff, and there's like activities and things. Yeah, well, Berg Saga has the same thing, except it's way better, because it's what I want out of Fire Emblem Three Houses, where it's literally a menu, and you just go to whatever, you click in the menu which place you want to go to, and you just go there really quickly.
Yeah,
you know, there's no walking or running around. Like, it's so weird that we've like regressed in this way in video games. Like, how is it better to physically run to the place you're trying to go to rather than just picking it on a menu and going there? You know, like, how is that actually better? It's not.
I mean, because we have the
capabilities,
and you know, you can set the atmosphere, the mood, and everything like that nature.
But this is so much better than what Fire Emblem did with the monastery, in my opinion.
I mean, it does
because
I just use the quick trip menu in there
right,
all
but
the
you
time.
still have to run to whoever you're trying to talk to. It's not like perfect.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
you're right.
you can't like teleport everywhere. It's just So
after a while it gets old.
Dude, it's so old. I've been playing the game for like 200 hours. I'm over it. I don't want to run around the monastery anymore. I'm over it. So this game is a breath of fresh air in that sense too. There are some definitely weird things about it, like the weapon durability system is a little RNG, but dude, honestly, a lot of people hate it, but I actually kind of like it because it encourages me to use my weapons, So
what do you mean by it's RNG? Like, it doesn't have a set number?
Yeah, so Fire Emblem's durability system traditionally was a number, right? Like an iron sword has 45 uses and then it breaks.
Yeah,
and that is 45 hits, not misses. Misses don't count. It's every hit you hit the enemy, that takes one off your durability. So this system has traditionally made me, and I think this is true of many people, a hoarder in Fire Emblem. Like when you give me a special weapon that only has 20 uses, I'm never going to fucking use that weapon.
Yeah,
except in the most extreme circumstances that I really, really need it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that happens in every Fire Emblem game. And in this one, they give you tons of special weapons, but the way the durability system is, there are tiers of durability, and there's a likelihood every time you use the weapon that it'll break based on that, which sounds shitty, and it is shitty at times. But at the top level, there's no chance it breaks. It's like undamaged, perfectly new, like brand new or whatever. And then the next one's like slightly used. Maybe there's like a, 5% chance it breaks. And then the next tier after that is showing some wear or something like that, and it has like a 10% chance to break.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the vagueness of this and the fact that you don't know what the exact percentages are,
I encourage you to use it more.
I don't really. You just kind of use the weapon until it breaks. Like, and then when it breaks, you're like, fuck. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm not that pissed about it. Like, it's like.
So have you run into a situation where it is like maybe a 5 or 10% chance? Maybe it's like a 5% chance it breaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you may equip the character with like 3 swords just in case, right?
Yeah.
And then all 3 of them break on like each turn.
No, that has not happened to me, actually. I have had situations where I bought a weapon, used it in a battle, and I used it for like 3 fights or something like that, and it broke on the 3rd one, and it's like, what? Come on, man. And that shit does suck, but the game's not unforgiving enough where you can't overcome that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's I think a lot of people complain about it, but to me, it's like I use every tool at my disposal because the game is so brutal in the sense of hit rates and damage and defense. Like, character defense is pathetic in this game. It's so low. The highest growth rate I saw on Serenus Forest for a character, I think, was like 18% for defense, and that's on like the takiest motherfuckers. Like the one, a lot of characters like mages and shit, they have like a 3% chance to boost their defense every level up, which is like you're gonna get 1 defense in the entirety of the game with that character.
That's
on average.
Wild.
Yeah, so it's like the game is really brutal. It really encourages you to use your best shit. In a lot of situations, especially against the boss enemies, they are tough, dude, and they have higher hit rates than most enemies. So you can't fuck around, because like I told you about the doubling last week. Like if you hit the enemy, they cannot counterattack unless they have an ability that lets them counterattack through damage.
Yeah.
And so that mechanic really encourages you to hit. You want to hit if you can. Obviously you always want to hit, but it's like in this situation, like not hitting means that you attacking them could result in you taking damage and them not taking any damage, and then they get to attack you the next turn. So it's like it's really dangerous sometimes to be aggressive. And I really like it. I just like it. You have to play around interesting stuff. You have to use abilities a lot. There's abilities that in Fire Emblem I have fucking never used that I'm using like crazy in this game. Like there's this one called Guard, where you can the character with Guard can use it on an adjacent character, and they can step in their place in battle and protect them if they get targeted. I use that shit all the time. I'll put like I'll go forward with like one of my weak ass archer characters, and then I will put my beefy ass a defender character next to them and use Guard on them and make sure they don't get surrounded and killed. Because they can only take 2 hits. And it's
that's I mean, I'm saying realistic, but I mean, yeah, Archer traditionally would not be able to defend themselves against someone. So
in close quarters, yeah, and that's kind of my thing. Is like the game is balanced so tightly that you have to use everything at your disposal, and Fire Emblem was just not like that in the modern day.
Yeah,
and 3 Houses was especially egregious in this for me. Even on hard, was like if you're min maxing, your characters are just unkillable most of the time. It's
you're right.
Like, and yeah, so I really appreciate that design as well. So. Yeah, really, definitely recommend this game if you like strategy games. Check it out. It's easy to find on the internet. So, okay, let's move into the news. Finally, we actually have a lot to get through because we haven't talked about news in 2 weeks. So we're gonna blow through some stuff pretty quick here. This happened a couple weeks ago. This was sourced by Kotaku. They said that EA has canceled another Star Wars game, and this was a Star Wars
Literally.
Battlefront spinoff.
I mean, I guess I understand why, because it's Star Wars Battlefront and the whole, you know, what was it? Our Pride and Appreciation or something like that? Pride and Accomplishment.
Pride and Accomplishment.
Pride and Accomplishment. That's what they should name the spinoff. But
that would have been awesome, dude.
But I mean, we want more Star Wars games. I mean, despite that, you know, and I guess I understand. Also, I guess I understand from another standpoint too that the fucking campaign was not good at all. So, maybe this is a good thing. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe it is a good thing because that campaign was fucking ass.
Well, for the full history of this, so this is the third game in 3 years that EA has canceled, Star Wars game. The first one was Ragtag, which was Visceral's story-driven linear action game.
Yeah.
That was being headed up by Amy Hennig. That was canceled. Visceral was closed. That was in 2017, I believe. And then they split off from that when they made the announcement they were closing the studio and canceling that game. They announced something. They didn't call it this, but it was called Orca. They announced that they were making a game with kind of within that same universe. They were trying to make Ragtag with some of those same assets, but it was being made by one of their EA Vancouver studio. And that one got canceled as well last year. And this third game was designed as a spinoff to Star Wars Battlefront, and it was going to have some open world elements, and now this is canceled as well. So it's, I mean, honestly, it's good that they're not just releasing whatever the fuck they're making, because they easily could do that. I mean, it's Star Wars, dude. They could release almost anything, and it probably would be profitable. But it is interesting to think that EA is being careful with this IP in that way.
I honestly think I would say Jedi Outcast, but Fallen Order, yeah. I think that set a precedence now that we're gonna have this standard for Star Wars games, like because that was a good Star Wars game in a while, and
that's the minimum bar they should be meeting.
Exactly, they set that standard, and now they need to either meet that standard or go above that standard. So yeah, I would expect each game, like if they make another Star Wars Battlefront, I want that game to be like a Battlefield game. I don't want it to be a Battlefront game. I want it to be like destructible environments and shit like that. Like,
that'd be awesome. Trees falling down and shit.
That's what people wanted. When people saw that DICE got this, we were instantly like, yes.
But dude, it was trash. It was like an arena shooter.
Yeah, almost. And that's why a lot of people were upset because, and then I remember the comments behind it from DICE were like, oh, we want this game to be accessible to everybody and everything of that nature.
I hate that phrase.
And people were like, you could have made it accessible.
This is like, dude, the thing is, I'm so sick of that term being used to defend a game being bad. Like, we wanted to make it accessible to everybody, so we're going to make a worse fucking game. Like, who? Like, God, man. They think people are simpletons. Like, they don't want complicated video games. Like, it's just so irritating, you know?
I mean, not to bring it up again, but that's why Final Fantasy VII is so relieving to me, the remake, because it's not overly complicated, but it's complicated just enough where I'm like, I appreciate your effort.
And they gave you difficulty modes if you don't want to deal with the complication.
Exactly,
like, that's what you need to do. And obviously in an online multiplayer game, I guess that's hard to pull off, but not really. You could just make specific modes for those people, for people who don't want complicated shit, who just want to shoot guns, you know?
Exactly.
Like, it's not really that difficult to cater to both audiences, in my opinion, but your game should just strive to be good. That should be what the baseline is, you know? And I feel like sometimes that gets lost in all this marketing speak and whatever the hell they're trying to do.
Yeah, PR departments are the worst thing to happen to gaming. But it is what it is.
Right. Okay, let's move on. Next story. This is following up with a couple weeks ago. We talked about Activision pulling their games off GeForce Now. Well, Bethesda has followed suit, and it is not looking good for NVIDIA for GeForce Now. So they released this service a few weeks ago, and it seems like they did not have any deals in place with anybody to allow people to stream games through GeForce Now.
Okay.
And this is becoming the very obvious pitfall of streaming, is that every single developer and publisher is probably going to want their little deal where they get a certain amount of money from these streaming services in order to have their game, just like Netflix has. And this is going to be the death of these things in the short term, because as good as GeForce Now seemed to be, I mean, if you can't play any games on it, then what's the fucking point of it, you know?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of these companies, unfortunately, want to double dip. They want the Stadia model where you have to buy the game twice, or, you know, it's, yeah.
And how good is Stadia doing where they're opening up a second studio? You saw that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a story of
fascinating.
They're opening up a second studio with one of their lead designers, and she's going to be heading that studio. And I'm like, I wonder how is Google really just pushing it, or are they really making money where they can justify it? And I think Google's just trying to push it.
I don't think they're making money. Maybe they are. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the numbers, but I would imagine whether they're making money or not, they're committed to this right now.
Yeah.
So in order to make sure they at least can have a future with this, they need more resources, and they recognize that. This is similar to like PSVR and some of these VR headsets. I think it's the same kind of thing. They're just going to keep pushing it now because they believe in 5 years it's going to be worth it, probably.
Well, like you said, another thing with these streaming services, I just thought about. So like with Netflix, right? And Hulu sometimes does this, but more so with Netflix more than Hulu. They pull shows off because like the licenses end or they don't have it anymore.
Oh, this happened crazy recently with a lot of NBC shows like The Office and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if like that would be the same thing for games as well. Like maybe after 4 years, you know, of you playing Destiny 2, like even though you didn't move on to a new Destiny 3, you're still playing Destiny 2. Like they pull the license off of that.
Well, forget about that, dude. What about if you're playing like, I don't know, say you have a 4-year deal with the game on Stadia, for instance, right? And it's a single player game. And you buy the game and you play about 75% of it. And then the licensing deal runs out, they don't renew, and you can't play the fucking game anymore. And you paid $60 to play it, you know?
Like, I think that's just so wild that you had to pay to play that game. It's on the streaming.
Dude, and that's what I wonder about it is, would they be able to revoke your ability to play it if you already purchased it, or would it be a situation like Steam where you could still have the game, and you can play it if you already purchased it, but people just can't purchase it anymore,
exactly, yeah.
You know, and that you know, the first one just seems really fucked up. Like, because if you played 75% of the game, saying your just timing was bad, and like all of a sudden you can't finish it, like how bullshit would that be? You know,
and that's the thing, we don't know. That's why these services are very scary to jump up on. I'm actually glad a lot of gamers didn't instantly jump to the Stadia. I'm just upset that a lot of reporters are like still not asking these type of questions. Like out of all the articles I read,
dude, they never ask the hardball questions.
Yeah, like
shit, though.
No one's asking these questions. That all they were talking about was like the latency issue. But we are, as gamers, we already knew that was going to be a big thing. And
right, you're not asking a tough question there.
Exactly.
That's like we're all aware of it.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just for me, like, I think that this is like, I guess what you were saying though about like Destiny 2, I guess it would be even more fucked up, right? If you played this game for 4 years and you're like super dedicated and you've been in every single new piece of content, and you're like a Destiny 2 lifer, you know?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden one day the license runs out on Stadia and you can't play it anymore. That would be horrible. Oh God, I can't even imagine the backlash that would receive. So I imagine that's probably not how it would work.
I mean, I'm probably sure it doesn't work like that, but I'm just saying they could hypothetically.
They could do that, though.
Yeah, they could.
That's the thing. They could do that. This is another point about us with digital games. Is like we don't own any of this shit. We're paying rental fees basically for these games.
Pretty much.
You know, and it's really expensive rental fees. So, okay, let's move on to the next story. So another follow up on Warcraft 3 Reforged. Man, there was a tournament a couple weeks ago. DreamHack in Anaheim, and there were some really, really unfortunate issues that happened. So there were a lot of issues throughout the tournament, but the biggest one that I heard of was a couple players called Moon and Thorzane, I think that's his name, don't quote me on that, the pronunciation. But so they were playing a match, and they were playing a best of 3, and they got to the third game, and Thorzane disconnected because you can't play on LAN, so you have to use Blizzard servers. And he disconnected from the game, which has been a very common issue with people with Reforged playing online. He disconnected, so the tournament rules are they have to play a rematch game. And then this rematch game, the fourth game, he was fucking dominating Moon, like absolutely dominating. And then he disconnected again.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they had to play a fifth game, a rematch game, and he lost to Moon. Yeah.
Wow.
And people were pissed, dude. Like they were saying this guy was robbed. And I mean, from my perspective, I watch sports a lot, and some of these things happen in football where like a team gets a second chance, and it's like, you still have a chance to stop them, like he had a chance to win that fifth game, but how demoralizing is it though to be like in a winning position and then the game disconnects you? It's something completely out of your control. I understand how demoralizing that kind of thing is, and the fact that
I think that's the difference between like sports and
this is preventable.
Yeah,
Blizzard could have prevented this.
That was out of his hands. Like,
right.
You getting the penalty and then having to redo the down. That was a player that was your fault. That was your team's fault. It was a player on your team's fault. But like me disconnecting from the game, that's not my fault. That's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about that.
I'm not using my own hardware. It's
exactly
using like tournament specific hardware that they've issued for players and
exactly.
And supposedly a Blizzard rep was at the tournament and they didn't do anything about any of these issues. They didn't even attempt to get people to fix this stuff. So it's like I just don't know what Blizzard's doing with this game. Like it's like there was a patch last week that came out and it just was a bunch of minor shit again. Like it fixed some issues, but dude, there's still just so much wrong with this game that
I think they're gonna do a Final Fantasy 14 situation.
Oh my god, it's so depressing.
And that's not the solution to everything, but God,
we keep bringing it up though.
Yeah, but I mean, because that's the only some of these games are.
What an embarrassment that would be, though. What a fucking embarrassment that would be,
bro. These games are that fucked up where you have to just redo the whole project.
It's just ridiculous.
I think this game is unsalvageable, in my honest opinion.
The thing is, I think it is unsalvageable too because it's a spaghetti code situation.
Yeah,
where you had all this legacy code and a legacy engine from 2000 basically. And you're trying to make a game in a really old programming language and like update it and put new graphics into it. I do not understand why the fuck they didn't just do this in a new engine. I get that that's effort, and at that point you might as well just make a new Warcraft game. But frankly, it's not going to take nearly as long to import a bunch of shit and make the shit in. Like the game's already there, but trying to make it work exactly the same way, I get it. It would take a lot of effort, but it's
that would be a couple of programmers, but
it would have been better for the game, for Reforged, if they had done that, because what they've done is ruined 2 games. They ruined Reforged and they ruined the original game.
Because the only reason I say it wouldn't be that bad is because BioWare did it with Mass Effect 1. Yeah. And they brought over Mass Effect 1, I think, to the PS3. They imported the assets into the current engine that Mass Effect 3 was using.
Yep.
And I mean, everything else was the same though. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I mean, games can do that, and I think they should have done that with Warcraft.
Well, they were making new assets anyways.
Exactly.
So the only thing you have to replicate is the way the game feels, and that does take some effort and time, obviously, in the way pathing works and shit like that. But dude, honestly, if they had made the game better, I don't think people would have complained that much if they had changed the gameplay a little bit.
I honestly think
they didn't need to make it a 1-to-1 thing, because if the old game was still there, the old game was still there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wouldn't have had a problem with that personally.
I think they should have made it a separate client.
Yeah,
it just should have been like the Reforged client, and then like the whole switching back and forth thing.
Mm-hmm.
Say we took that out because it's not working properly. Just have the new version, and then we're going to keep your old version of the game still intact. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think they should have just did that. And then on top of that, I mean, they did pull people to make Diablo. I feel like they did. They pulled a lot of people to make Diablo. They pulled a lot of people to make Overwatch 2.
Right.
And I think this game suffered for it. Honestly.
I still believe they only have 5 people working on this game. That patch was the patch was not robust. It did fix some issues for sure, but it was a lot of stuff that was really minor, like a model issue here and like a trigger issue in one mission here. Like it wasn't major stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna keep monitoring it, and I'm gonna keep reporting on it on the show because I care about this game too much. But It just sucks. It just sucks to see this stuff. Like, I mean, hopefully, if more shit like this happens, the pros start speaking up because they're gonna kill this game. Because this game still had a pro scene, and it's like,
Oh,
they're gonna.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what this tournament was, and it was like they're gonna kill this game if these people have to deal with this shit. They're not gonna play this shit. Like, why would they? Why would they bother? It's not worth it if you're gonna play a tournament and you don't know if you're gonna get through your games, without disconnecting. So
Yeah.
all right, let's move on. Next story is about Microsoft. So there was a bit of a so CD Projekt Red tweeted something out a couple weeks ago, and Xbox kind of piggybacked this tweet to say that they are introducing something with the Xbox Series X called Smart Delivery. And Smart Delivery is, I'm going to quote Microsoft here. So, quote, empowers you to buy a game once and know that whether you are playing it on Xbox One or Xbox Series X, you are getting the right version of that game on whatever Xbox you're playing on. So the purpose of Smart Delivery is that you can purchase a title once in order to play the best available version for whichever Xbox console they choose to play on, end quote. So basically, if you buy the game on Xbox One, you're going to get the game for free on Xbox Series X, which it's just cross-gen purchasing. But I don't know. So when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, this is a big deal. Like, Sony kind of needs to match this. And the further away I've gotten from it, it just seems like an inevitability that Sony's going to say the same thing at some point. But they did say with this that this is going to be a feature that developers can choose to use. It's not something they're going to be forced to do. So if they want to double dip, they can. But it's going to be a really bad look if they do, probably.
Yeah.
But I guess, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a good win for the gamers.
100%.
Yeah.
They're really trying to, I guess, push or pressure publishers not to double dip.
Yeah,
it's going to be bad for them if they do.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is really good for consumers. I think this is the total opposite. I think the reason why they are so nice, though, is because they really want to go as far away as possible from that 2013 debacle. 2013 debacle was so corporate, so anti-consumer that, they have to go the other direction. I think this is a good business move. I think it's really strategic.
Right.
Because for God's sakes, they told a fucking Navy vessel, man, you got the 360. That's
too bad.
Yeah, too bad. You got the Navy. If I'm on a submarine now, I got my 360 there, or I got my Xbox One.
No Xbox One for you, baby.
Yeah, just play the Xbox 360. So I think this is really cool. Not only that, but this is really good for gamers that are tight on money or low income or things of that nature, because you don't have to rush to get out the new console. You can kind of take your time, especially with that other program they got where you can kind of rent the console, not rent it, but
right.
Do a rent center type thing.
Finance
it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Financing.
Yeah, you can finance it until you buy the console, even though it costs more money. But at the time, people can still buy the games and things of that nature. And so I thought I think that's pretty cool. I think PlayStation needs something like this, and I heard that they have something like this in the works.
They have to. I mean, this has been a really common question with these consoles because they're going to be backwards compatible. We believe, well, Xbox has already confirmed it, but we believe PS5 will as well. How is that going to work? When you buy a game on PS4 and it comes out on PS5 as well, it would be really dumb if you required people to purchase it on PS5 because it's backwards compatible with PS4.
And I think
so. It's like, how is that even going to work? Are you going to be like, oh, the PS4 version, you can play it on PS5, but you're playing a down-res PS4 version?
And I think this is why Sony is moving so slow with their stuff. These questions do need to be answered by PlayStation or Sony in general.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people are like, well, I didn't buy it because of that. I bought it because of the games. And it's like, all right, cool. But there are a lot of people who do play Call of Duty, which is a multi-faceted or a multi-console game.
Apex
Legend, Fortnite, and things of that nature. They want to know, will my stuff transfer over? Can I get these games for free? Do I got to double dip again? Because last generation you did. Say if you bought Destiny 1 on the 360, you had to buy Destiny again on the Xbox One. Same thing.
Last of Us as well.
The Last of Us as well.
Last of Us is a perfect example because that came out 6 months before the new console did, and then the new version of the game came out on PS4 3 or 4 months after the console came out. It was like they just double dipped straight up.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I think they honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I think they will do it. I think PlayStation probably would do it with some of their games, but not all of their games.
yeah,
They're gonna put it up to the publisher. And I
yeah.
think Xbox is doing the same thing, right? Or are they doing every game themselves?
No, it's up to the publisher.
Okay, yeah. So,
But dude, yeah, GTA 5 is like the perfect example of this. It
oh
came
yeah,
out September 2013, 2 months before the next consoles launched. So they made a shitload of money that month when that game came out, and then they released it when the consoles came out and made a shitload more money because people bought it on the new consoles.
yep,
And that has just gone on for fucking years.
yeah.
And it's
I
yeah.
think it should stop. The only thing they added was like first person mode or something. Like I don't know, it was crazy.
To the new version,
yeah. So
yeah, right.
So, like I said, I think this is really, really consumer friendly, way different from the last generation, and
This is good for all of us. I
yeah.
mean, you said you saw some people complaining about this though. Somehow, like what is there to complain about here? I can't even wrap my head around that.
Well, I mean, it was more like trolling, like, oh, the console's so bad because it has no games that you gotta play your old games. And it's like, shut up! Like the console wars are over. Shut up!
Oh, it was just fanboy shit.
Yeah, it was just
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
We don't need to go deep on that stuff. All right, let's move on to the next story here. This is a big story. So, past couple weeks, obviously, unless you live under a rock, you have probably heard about the coronavirus, which technically is COVID-19 or COVID-19, if you want to just say it shorten it.
Sounds like a fucking Metal Gear villain.
It sounds like a pandemic virus or something. You know the board game? It's like COVID-19.
Snake, you gotta crawl up there and fight him. Who? COVID-19.
Yeah. So, so this has been spreading around. It's hit the U.S. There have been quite a number of cases. I think over 100 now. I think over 10 confirmed deaths related to the virus, and it's become a big deal in the general public. But in terms of video games, GDC was happening here in March, and a bunch of companies started pulling out. Sony pulled out first, and then dominoes started falling everywhere once that happened. Tons of companies started pulling out to the point that nobody was really going anymore. So GDC was forced to basically, so they didn't cancel the show. They said they're postponing the show until they're hoping to have a show in the summer at some point, late summer. And basically what this means is that they are not going to be refunding people on their passes. And from what I understand, GDC passes are very, very expensive for developers. Like it's like $1,000, $2,000 to get a pass to this show because this is a very exclusive show. Yes, a lot of this stuff is like streamed publicly, but there is a lot of behind closed doors stuff just for developers. This is a place where indie devs a lot of the time will go to the big publishers. They will meet with those publishers and pitch their games, trying to get funding. This is a very common thing in GDC, and that none of that is going to be happening this year. So this is kind of a big deal in that sense. It's not a big deal for the consumer side of things, but for the industry, this is a really important show. And it is interesting that GDC is able to weather this storm. But if they're not going to be refunding people, because they didn't really announce that part of it, from what I can tell. But I don't know, like the idea that they're not going to have a show at all, though, is because even if they have something in the summer, it's just going to be completely different from the normal show. You know, it won't be the full thing, I would imagine.
Yeah. Honestly, what they should do is just have like a GDC stream and then have those independent developers make a stream or something like that. And I understand, unfortunately, for the people pitching, they won't be able to do that, unfortunately.
I did see some things on Twitter where I think it was somebody from Sony or one of the publishers said, like, if you have a game pitch that you were planning on doing at GDC, like, send it over. You know?
Okay.
So they are reaching out. They're trying to reach out, but I don't think that's going to hit everybody. So this, it's a kind of an unfortunate deal. But
because I know networking is a big part of gaming. So I do feel bad for a lot of people, but I mean, we got to stay safe. So.
It is interesting though that that people started pulling out of the show as early as they did, because it hadn't really been confirmed in the U.S. at the time, like too much. Like there had been a few cases, but they were quarantined. Like it wasn't like a huge thing. But I guess this show is so global. Like, you have companies coming from Japan, Korea probably, and
Yeah, exactly.
some of these Asian countries. So I guess they just felt like it's because it's interesting. They're just eating the money, dude. Like, they're not getting the money back, and it's
That's was really interesting. I wonder how they're gonna in the next couple of months address that, because if there's not like a cure or like a decrease in the coronavirus spread, then they're gonna have to get that money back.
Well, this relates to another story with E3, because E3 is coming in June, which is not that far. And if this does not stop, if this gets more rampant between now and then, the ESA came out and said they have no plans at this time to cancel E3. But, dude, they might not have a choice, because if companies start pulling out the way they did here at GDC, then they're not really going to have much of a choice. And the ESA is way more reliant on E3. Like, it is over 50% of that company's income every year is that event. Yeah, no, dude, they would basically be dead if they had to cancel E3. Like, that is how vital it is for them. That's why they are not canceling it, like, period. I think they will have it no matter what. That's kind of my impression.
That's pretty scary, though.
Dude, yeah, because most of the rest of their money comes from donations and membership fees that they have with companies that are part of the ESA, And that's...
I mean, they may be able to delay it.
God, how though? Like, how far would you delay it? Like, this is the thing with this, and this is similar to delaying like the console launches this year, is if you have a planned rollout of how you want to market your games, I mean, are you really gonna wait for whatever E3's postponement date is, or are you just gonna do your own stream in June, when E3 would have been? That's what I think is gonna happen, because I feel like a lot of companies, and dude, think about this. Imagine if they cancel the show, right? And everybody has to do their own stream, and they realize how much less money they have to spend to do a stream that gives them just as much exposure as going to E3. Even if E3 ESA does survive and E3 comes back next year, are they even going to bother to go? It's like I don't like they're in a really precarious position here. Like like I said, I don't think they will cancel the show, period. They're going to stick to their guns and plant this flag because they have no other choice.
I think that's very dangerous. I think the government may try to get them shut down, because that's very dangerous. Mm-hmm. Very dangerous.
Yeah, because these events are very global. I will say, though, is we haven't seen any kind of shutdowns of things like sporting events. I haven't really seen any getting shut down right now.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot.
Those can be pretty global as well.
Yeah.
And once we start seeing that, I think is when I think we really should start getting concerned. But at the moment, I think it's really just a precaution with GDC, and I'm going to assume ESA is just kind of hoping and praying to God at this point that things get better before E3. But I mean, these kind of things don't end quickly, because we do not have a cure to this yet. So it's just going to keep spreading probably in the meantime. So it's an interesting thing to note. Like, E3 could end up having a premature death faster than we expected, because it was already kind of dying. But, this thing could just put the nail in the coffin, as it were, which is unfortunate. I like this show. So, all right. Any other thoughts on that?
Nah.
All right.
I mean, yeah, I think that's just going to be really bad. I think they should cancel it. Honestly, I honestly think they should cancel it.
I understand. I mean, I just think people are going to pull out. I just don't think companies are going to go.
I don't think they should. But I am curious, though. If people pull out and they do streams and the streams get just as much numbers and playback, next year may be a disaster for them, because they're like, well, we actually don't need you to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
That would be bad. So
it's just becoming interesting in general, too, because Sony has still not announced the PS5 reveal event, and I just don't know what, like, people are kind of chomping at the bit at this point, but this whole coronavirus thing is, well, because this coronavirus thing has been horrible timing for them, because it was already coinciding with them kind of hedging a little bit too much, and they were kind of like, it felt like February was the time, and they missed the window, and now they're in a position where I don't even think they can do an event, because of this coronavirus stuff. Like, if people aren't going to go to GDC, why would they go to Sony's reveal event? So I think they're going to be forced into doing a stream. Like, your little bet with me from a few months ago is going to end up being proved right because of this. Like, you're gonna like fumble into that basically, because like I don't know if they have a choice, and I think that's why we've seen such a delay. Is I think they're putting a stream together, And that takes time. Like you
Yeah.
can't. You have to pre-record stuff. They were announcing other people's games probably at this event, like other companies. Like
Yep.
WB was probably going to announce a Batman game. I think, I think Ubisoft probably was going to show some stuff, and there probably are other companies that were involved there. So if you're going to make a video, you need them to make stuff too. And coordinating all that is going to take a lot of time between intercompany communication like that. So it's really poor timing for PlayStation as well. So it's a really interesting situation that we will certainly be monitoring because it is affecting the industry in a big way at this point. So, all right, let's move on. Next story is last week, Baldur's Gate 3 finally got a gameplay reveal by Larian Studios. And they showed a pretty extensive amount of gameplay. There was plenty of previews out there if you want to go see it. The game,
like a 3-hour long.
Yes, there's a lot of gameplay, and it looks like Baldur's Gate Divinity. So the big question that we brought up a long time ago has been answered. This game is turn-based.
Yes.
It is not real-time with pause. And this predictably did cause some consternation.
Yep.
As I said, it probably would, and this was a big deal, and I am personally very happy they went with turn-based because I vastly prefer that to real-time with pause, but the purists are not happy, and I can understand where they're coming from, for sure. If you like that, truly, and actually like genuinely prefer it, man, does that suck to have Baldur's Gate teased to you, and then you rationalized that you were sure they were going to go real-time with pause, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
They just didn't. And a lot of people are saying, they wish they could have both, but dude, trying to balance for both is impossible. That's very different styles of game that would require very different balance.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's not something as easy as like if they did put it in there, it would just be a half-assed thing based on whatever the turn-based balance is.
Exactly.
It probably wouldn't play very well.
It wouldn't.
So it is unfortunate for those people, but for me, man, super happy. This game looks sick. Like, dude,
I don't have any quarrels against it. I mean, turn based is pretty cool. Hopefully it's on portable. I don't know. I just want to play this game portable.
Like on Switch.
Yeah, on the Switch.
They got Divinity 2 on Switch, so I could see it, but it is dude, it looks pretty robust. The game definitely looks really challenging too, which I think is really important for these kind of RPGs.
Yeah.
They get real boring real fast if they're easy, in my opinion. But looks pretty good. I'm excited about it for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it day one, but
I'm probably not going to play it day one, but I will get this game.
I will get this game at some point for sure. So looks very, very interesting. Okay, let's move on. This one is much more up your alley.
God, because it's
Riot Games, Montrell's favorite company.
It's definitely not my favorite company.
Has officially revealed a game they announced a while ago, a few months back on that stream, right? I think they said.
Yeah.
But they've finally revealed what the game is called. So it is called Valorant. Valorant, I guess, is how you'd say it. It is going to be a arena shooter in the vein of Overwatch. So it's going to be like a hero shooter. It's going to be a free-to-play, team-based tactical shooter with a 5-on-5 setup. Each map has 25 total rounds. The first team to win 13 rounds wins the match. At the start of each match, players pick characters called agents. Agents have special abilities like dashing quickly, creating pools of smoke, building walls, or even calling down airstrikes. So it's very similar to like Counter-Strike or Team Fortress rather, or Overwatch. It sounds like.
Well, they compared this. The people say that it's more comparable to like Rainbow Six, though, or
that would be fair as well. Yeah,
or because Rainbow Six actually has heroes in it,
right?
Like had their own version of heroes. But Counter Strike, it's supposed to be as fast paced as Counter Strike, but Rainbow Six with like the touch of Rainbow Six, because I remember Rainbow Six does have operators and things of that nature. So I'm really interested in that.
Well, so it's interesting. Is this in the League of Legends universe?
I don't think this one takes place in the League of Legends universe. I think this is its own separate game.
Okay, because I was gonna say it's gonna be kind of weird, right?
Nah, yeah, this is separate. This is like a separate game.
It's just its own game.
It's just made by the same company.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Yeah, interesting. Are you
'cause
excited about this? Are you gonna try it?
I'm gonna try it. Yeah, I mean, they got a card game out if you're interested in the card games.
Yeah, Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah,
which I've been hearing about that a lot recently.
But it's funny about this game though. So I'm gonna paint a picture for you guys. I'm sitting down, playing League of Legends. I'm jungling. I'm about to gank mid. Just took my red buff, about to gank mid. So in the midst of me going to gank mid, I'm in the bush.
Montrell's in the bush, guys.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling in the bush. Waiting for the Yasuo to push up because I'm about to gank
Yasuo,
it.
man. You're
all
ready to
Yasuo
fuck
players
him. You're ready to fucking
are
wreck
stupid.
his shit, right?
A girl comes down.
Hate that. You hate that character, don't you?
I fucking hate that character. I think that character is like the worst design, one of the worst design characters in League of Legends.
Okay,
anyway,
so you're about to fuck him up.
Yeah, I'm about to fuck him up.
Okay.
So my girl comes down, sits down with a cheeseburger,
This is really specific.
Yeah, it's a cheeseburger. She's like eating it. She already has the bag of fries and everything. She's
Wait, so was this like a cheeseburger from a place? Like
this is like a cheeseburger from a place. Like,
okay, so she bought it.
It was like a mom and pop place. Right?
Oh, okay, so like a local place, but it was like a restaurant or not a restaurant, but like a eat out place.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she gets a cheeseburger. She goes near, sits down on this little chair that I have next to my desk, and she's just like like that.
Don't make the mouse noises. My god.
So she was like, "Hey, Riot Games come out with a new game, Valorant. They say it's comparable to Counter-Strike. Now, so if you're like me, if you have a girlfriend that's like not really into video games like that, she dabbles into it because you probably like it, but pretty much This is not her cup of tea, right? Like, if it was anything else, I wouldn't really bat an eye. I stopped mid-game.
Yep.
And I looked at her for about 20 seconds.
Yep.
Because I couldn't believe what just came out of her mouth. Because first of all, I didn't even hear.
You didn't say anything? She's just sitting there just eating the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to
She smiled because she knew she just
dropped a bomb on you.
And I'm just like, I didn't even know about this news. So before he even put this in the article list, like I knew about it because of her. And I'm like, what? And then I hear, enemy kill, or you have been slain. Enemy double kill. I'm like,
kill.
Yasuo got a double kill on me in the mid lane.
Yasuo found you. Yeah. Fucking that fucker, man.
I don't know because I was in motion of doing it.
Oh no!
Yeah,
you were in the mid. You were in mid gank. She got you. She ganked you mid gank. She ganked you in real life, man. Oh man, she counter ganked.
So yeah,
did you put that? You should have put that in chat, man. When they were like, "What the fuck, dude? What happened?" I was like, "I got counter ganked by my girl."
I got counter ganked, and then or that happened, and then I just heard pinging, like because people ping the missing symbol. Yeah. He's like ping, 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 ping. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Yeah, and everyone was like flaming me, like, you're the worst jungler ever. Better jungler wins.
Welcome to League, man. Oh, jeez. Well, dude, if my wife did that to me, I feel like I would turn around and look around my room like, am I tripping on acid right now?
That's how it was for me. I don't know what was going on there. I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. So I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, she compared it to like, it's comparable to, they say it's I'm talking exactly how she was talking. They say it's comparable with the swagger and everything.
She's trolling you. She's just like, she's got like these stories in her Google feed or something or whatever. Oh, you have iPhones. Whatever the fuck your equivalent is, your Apple feed or whatever.
No, she has a Android phone.
Oh, she does? Okay.
Yeah. So she has the Samsung phone.
Fair
but
enough.
No, I think she listens to another podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets some of her.
Wait, she's cheating on us? She's cheating on our show with another gaming podcast?
Fucking, she listens to a lot of podcasts, man.
What the fuck, dude? I'm offended. I'm upset. We need every listener we can get, Montrell.
I know, right? So,
oh man,
I thought that was funny though. So that's my picture I painted for you guys.
I don't think there's any release date set for it, so it's coming at some point. I'm sure it'll go early access or whatever. So, okay, let's move on. Release dates. We got some release dates. So, Borderlands 3 has been announced to be coming to Steam on March 13th. So, this is much sooner than people thought because, the Epic Games Store exclusivity has seemingly been for like a year for certain games. And not this one, I guess. It was only 6 months. So, that is exciting. Look forward to that. Those of you who've been waiting for it on Steam, you didn't have to wait very long. So, next one. This one is literally just for me. No one listening to this probably is ever going to care about this. I'm 100% serious. Even if we get like 100,000 listeners of this fucking show, I don't think anybody is going to care about this but me. So I'm just doing this for myself. So, Brigandine, the Legend of Runercia, Runercia, I guess. I don't know how to say this.
Doesn't
this
even
is
know how to
the
pronounce the game.
this is the sequel to the strategy game Brigandine, Legend of Orsina that came out on PS1. And I mentioned this a few months ago, back in December or November, I think, when it was initially announced. It has been given a release date worldwide of June 25th. It's coming on Switch. I think it's exclusive on Switch. No idea if it's coming to other platforms, but it's going to be on Switch, so I'm going to play it there. Looks exactly like the original game in terms of playstyle, and that's exciting for me because I liked it. Hopefully the AI is better than the original game, because that is what tanked the game's fun value, honestly, is that the AI was fucking trash. But hopefully it's better in this game, but it looks very, very similar to the original game, so I'm looking forward to that. Montrell, you going to play this?
I gotta see what it looks like first.
Come on, man. The screenshots. It looks good. This is like a trailer.
I'm trying to look for the trailer. I'm trying to look for the gameplay trailer.
Man, it looks good. Play it. It's this fun strategy game. No one's gonna like this game. People are gonna hate this shit, man. Oh my god. I'm not looking forward to when this comes out. I'm gonna be literally the only person on the internet who likes this fucking game. But I'm gonna support it regardless because I like the series. So, all right, next one. Death Stranding also got a PC release date. It's coming in June. So this. A big one in the sense that it's a PlayStation game. It was a PlayStation exclusive that is no longer going to be exclusive. I assume this was written into the deal that Kojima signed, that he would be able to release this a few months after the original PlayStation release. So for those of you on PC who want to play Death Stranding, you will be able to. So June 2nd.
Also, sorry, Half-Life 3 fans. I know you guys are on Suicide Watch right now, because it's also being released with Half-Life content. So it's
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it has some
Oh,
Half-Life.
that's insane.
Yeah, it has some Half-Life.
Valve hates you guys. I'm so sorry. Well, isn't it Half-Life Alyx coming out in like 2 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Or like next week?
So Death Stranding, they call it, Death Stranding X Half-Life. It's gonna release. It's gonna have some Half-Life content in it. We don't know the exact details of it. I'm assuming it's all gonna be all cosmetic, but some people are speculating that this may be a crossover,
alternate universe.
Alternate universe from Half-Life.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
That would be pretty cool.
That's hilarious. It is coming on Steam and the Epic Games Store at the same time, and retail all at once on June 2nd. So no exclusivity there. So look forward to that. Next one. This was fun yesterday. So yesterday was the anniversary of the original Halo Combat Evolved, the original game on Xbox. And Microsoft stealth released Halo Combat Evolved on Steam. So it's out there.
Hey, I mean, this is a huge
Have at it, man.
This is a huge win for PC gamers, because this is the game they wanted. So.
Well, you know what's funny, though, is that this game has been on PC like multiple times over the years, and then it was taken off, and it's like now it's back again. It's like, because it was remastered in 2011, and then it was on Steam, I think, with the Master Chief Collection, but then it wasn't. And I don't really know the history of this that much, because the original game was on PC too, like way back in the day. That's where I played it with multiplayer. So
so it's interesting that this come back, and I know a lot of people are going to play this game.
Right. So yeah, if you're happy with that, though, go play it, because you can right now. Another stealth release, Konami. What the fuck is going on with Konami? I don't know what they're doing lately. Like, they don't even talk to anybody; they just do things.
I think they're trying to slowly get back into video games, but
So they also stealth released Castlevania Symphony of the Night on mobile phones today, day of recording, March 4th. And it's on iPhone. We confirmed it's on iPhone on the Play Store already, or what do they call it? The App Store?
It's the App Store.
App Store. On the Play Store on Android, I did not see it yet. So it's supposedly coming out on both, though.
Yeah, usually they drop it on the iPhone, and then probably like a couple weeks later, it's going to be on the Play Store.
The interesting part about this, though, is that it is actually coming with controller support, external controller support. So
that's cool.
I might pick this up, dude, and just play it on here, man. Because, like, if it was on Switch, I'd play it on there, obviously, but it's not. So, like, this is a game I feel like I'd play on mobile more than anything. So, $3, pretty cheap, which is pretty good pricing for a mobile version. So, yeah, if you like Symphony of the Night, you want to play it on your phone, you can. That's it for news. Otherwise, let's move into game releases. There's not a lot coming out this week. This is a pretty quiet week here. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus which is a fighting game, I believe.
Yes.
Have you looked into it at all? Does it look good?
I mean, I don't really like the Grand Blue universe,
Right.
so I'm not really into it. It looks good though. It looks like a really good game.
Yeah, I'm
Looks
more
like
looking forward to that Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is
Yeah.
that Monster Hunter clone.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
This
at clones,
this looks
so.
more like I think this is the Arc Systems game.
Yeah, Arc System works.
Yeah,
Yep.
so if you like all the Arc System fighting games, then this would be up your alley. I'm not really into the Grand Blue universe, so it really doesn't connect to me like that. But like,
Right. This is a gacha game, or the universe started in a gacha game.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it did. But yeah, that is the primary revenue generator for that company right now. Psy Games. And then Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. This is the remake.
Man, they've been pushing this game hard. I don't know if you've been seeing like the ads on Twitter, but they've been pushing it hard on my
It looks
Twitter
kind of
feed.
fun. I just don't know. Like, what is the purpose of the game? Like, what are you trying to achieve? You know,
I think
like-
you're rescuing Pokemon. I don't know.
is that it? Like, you go
I think
into
you're
these
Pokemon
dungeons
rescuing
and-
other Pokemon.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, man, that's all I'm seeing. Anything else you're seeing?
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, next week is way more interesting. We got Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Neo 2. So,
This was supposed to be a really packed week.
yeah, a lot of people moved out, though.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 was originally supposed to come out this week.
Yep.
And that didn't happen. So,
Actually, this whole month was supposed to be really packed. It was supposed to be a really packed month.
and now it's like Neo 2 and like Persona 5 the Royal,
Yeah.
basically. That's like the whole month, essentially. So, it's fine, though. I guess we have more time to play Apex or whatever the hell, or Berwick Saga or Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. All right. We're going to call it there, guys. I think that's all we got for this week. So if you like the show, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. We want to grow the audience and have conversations with you guys. And if you'd like to have those conversations with us, you can do that on Twitter at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at ThunderNote01. The show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Next week, who knows? Maybe the PS5 will be revealed. It probably won't, but we'll see. And whatever else happens, we will cover it for you guys. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. All right? Bye, guys.